Alright, welcome back to the channel. I did start a video on my Crack-Yak 32-inch from Twisted Hobbies, but as I went to my servo to control the ailerons, I could not find the packet for the servo horns and the screw, so I'm at a standstill there. I did order a new one on Amazon during Amazon days. Unfortunately, that package is somewhere lost in transit. I got the last it was supposed to show up within 2 days, which would have been actually it was supposed to show up on the 17th. It was in California, and then the 18th was the last update I got. They don't know where it is, lost in transit, whatever. Then they gave me an update for the 21st, and now here it is, the 25th, and so we're 7 days without an update. They haven't updated it, haven't said what's happened, nothing, any of that stuff. So that servo is stuck, and I don't want to continue until I get that servo, especially because it's very important to get it mounted and everything with the control arms on it. So what we're doing now is we're going back. So some of the things that we've ordered, I ordered some stuff because it was my birthday on the 16th, and so we ordered a bunch of stuff that I needed. So part of what I wanted to do is in the past on this is for the sand drag car. We basically put in some fuel tubing, right? I had it, inexpensive, easy to do, everything else. The problem is when you put it under a lot of stress and everything else, it can shrink down and basically deform, therefore not giving you a nice even set when you're trying to set it down, when you're trying to limit it, right? I can actually kind of feel that it's a little bit squishy. So what we're going to do is we're going to show in this. I got a lot of sand in all of this, so we'll be doing a thorough cleaning, possibly even before we get into this, because yeah, it's all pretty bad. When I do the sand drags, everything, absolutely everything gets sandy, nasty, all that kind of stuff. So we're just going to give it a quick wipe down. It's good to do this on a paper towel. I'm going to show you how we do this. So one of the first things we need to do, and I always say do it if you've got there's a tool that's made for this that just grasps the shaft here. I just like to protect it with a piece of paper towel. Cinch down on that, get a screwdriver or something, and we're going to start that. That'll loosen up. This will come right on out. Okay? Just like that. That way we don't damage this, which is really important not to do. You don't want little scars and stuff like that. It can tear, when your shock goes up and down, it can tear that seal and create some problems. There we go. Feel that loosening up, I think. There we go. Start seeing some thread. So we got to do this because we got to slide on and off the things to the limiters, basically. Okay, so these are old shocks. Somebody's already grabbed this with some, the previous owner probably doesn't really know how to do stuff. So I know that I've put this 50 weight shock fluid in there. So what I'm going to do is open the top, and then we're going to come over here. We're going to open the top of the shock here, and I always have some paper towel down. When you're doing this, it's going to get messy. It's just the nature of it. Remove our little bladder. We're going to slowly pour this back in, and we're going to move this up and down. This helps push that fluid down. Simple, easy. And it's going to continue to leak fluid. So what we do, again, take our paper towel. We're going to just let that drain off. Move to our second one. Same thing. Remove the top, which is filthy dirty. Got some sand on it. We'll clean that in just a second. Take off the little bladder. Start dumping our fluid down in. Use the piston to help with this. And because we got that little bit of tube down in there limiting it, there's going to be some in there. It's going to take some time to get it to clear out. Still dripping, no big deal. Let that drip out. I'm going to get another paper towel ready over to the side, maybe a couple. Excuse me. Definitely helps to have paper towels. It's going to get messy. So I'm going to open this up. We're only going to need 2, and that's about, the biggest one in here is about the size of what I cut that tubing. So that's the one I'm going to take. Got something inside. Just a little, looks like when they screw this. Now that, oh, that's fine. Okay. So what I got here in this, I'll get this in. Hopefully everybody can see it. Move it in. Get it to focus on it. Come on, focus. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. This is the Power Hobby. It is the RC Shock internal spacers limiters. It says 48 3mm size. What's important, if your shocks are bigger, you're not using 10th scale, then these are not going to fit, or they're going to be too big. It's just enough to fit in for the 10th scale. Okay, I'm going to pop this right out. Let that little oil seep down. We're going to pull it out. You can see here, there's my little tube limiter. Not only has it shrunk in size, it's also, I can feel a little break in it. You can see it's about the same size, hopefully you can see that, as the new limiter that we're putting in. So I'm putting in the biggest one. It appears to be about 1/2 inch, and that's just going to slide right on like so, right on in. Boom, all good, set to go. We will, oh, there's that other piece. So you can see this actually was bigger. Double check there's nothing else down in there. I'm just looking because it broke apart, that that I'm not gonna need to clean that out. And we just gotta find that hole. There we go. Slide that back in. Double check it. What I'm going to do before I do anything is see the difference there. That's quite a bit from what we had. I'm sure this is broken also. I'm just going to slide that out. Yeah, it's, you can see here it's in a few different pieces. So that did not do us any real good in it. Try to get the oil off my fingers, and hopefully you can see here as I move this out of the way. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit more than what we had, or a little less, our new spacer, than what we had before. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this on like that. Now these are nice because they're not affected by the fluid, like the obviously the fuel tube was. It is old. I used old fuel tubing, and obviously with it breaking apart, that made it so that they weren't real even, right? So that's the downfall with fuel tubing, is some of your fluids don't interact well with it, and we'll break it down. It's also just moving up and down on the strain that's going to create some problems with it. So excuse me, especially because we had these clips on there, so these clips really put a lot of pressure on it and press down. That's not going to happen with these. That's the nice part. So I think I'm going to be happy with where these are at currently. Double check, we are even. That's all good. Happy with that. I don't think I need any additional ones, even though there's some really small additional spacers. I think this is going to be just fine. We've limited a little less than a half of what we could possibly have on this whole thing. So now I'm going to wrap this. You can see too that I need to make this wrap smaller so I can get those ends on. Just screw that end on. There we go, it's on the end, so we're good in that one. Go to the next one, just going to do the same thing. Whoops. It's always on camera this stuff happens, right? Everything runs beautiful when you're just working at home. As soon as you get on camera trying to show something, that's when everything's going to slip, make mistakes. So I'm just turning this until I feel it stop naturally, and that's as far as I'm going. Okay, boom, just like that. Alright, so now we're good here. I am going to take my piece here, I'm going to clean everything up. I don't want any of the sand to get into our shock. That's just going to grind stuff up, make a lot of problems. Alright, so we're good there. So we take our shock, we're going to put our lid back on. You can see this is a real quick little thing if you're interested in doing it. Yes, your hand's going to get greasy, oily and everything else. So what I'm going to do, see if I can get this on, how I'm going to get this on camera. I'm filling it up with the shock oil. Filling it up. There we go till it gets to the top. You see that? It's right at the top. And I'm going to move this piston very slowly up and down. That's going to let all that fluid go down. I'm going to pull it back up. This is going to get rid of the air. You see the air bubbles showing up. It sank a little bit. I'm going to do it again. Alright, and then we're going to refill. Fill it back up. We got about a ½ an inch of air in that bottom part. We're going to do it again. Push up, pull down, saw it kind of sink a little bit more. Up, push down, got a little air bubble going in there. Sometimes when you move it a little faster, it'll get rid of any extra air bubbles. I'm not exceeding where the fluid is with the little disc that's in there. So we're going to do this, back up, back down. I just got a low battery warning, so I'm going to pause this for a second and get a battery changed. Alright, sorry about that little deal. I should have checked my battery level before I started. So anyways, back to this, a little spillage going on. So I filled it up Could use just a couple drops more. So it's almost to the top. You don't want it to the top because these little bladders are going to go in. So when you stick that bladder in, you should get a little bit of bleed over. That's what you want. Okay, I'm just going to set that down there. Dry my fingers so I can grab things. We're going to get our cap in. Push those into it, I think. Let's try this one more time. Again, everything works absolutely fine when you're not. There we go. So now that's seated. I got a little bit of bleed over, which is what I wanted. And I'm going to push down and screw on this cap. Doesn't feel right. Try it again. If for some reason it doesn't feel right, don't force it. Everything should just slide on nice. There we go. And if you need to, you can take a little something, because you get slippery. And we're going to seat that all the way down. Perfect. We got a little bit of leakage, which is fine. That's what we want. That's how I know it's going to be seated. I'm going to move it. Feels great. I don't feel any airlock going on. Nope, that feels nice. Nice and smooth. And that shock's done. We can set that to the side right now. Take our second one. We're going to repeat. Fill it up. Slow, slow. If you go fast, you're going to overflow it. You don't want that. Alright, so that just sucked it all down. Go ahead and refill. Start to see it at the top. Push up. And we're doing this slow because we don't want to push out that fluid. You do it too fast, it's going to push that fluid out and over, and it's not going to fill it. Alright. Move a little fast, make sure there's no air bubbles in it. So this one just happened to be, push it to the top and pull it down again just to see. Happy where that's at. Take our little bladder here, press it down. Make sure you don't, what I was happening was I had my finger on top, it suction cups on, and then it just pulls it up with your finger. You don't want that. There we go. Start to turn this. Again, everything is slippery. So I'm going to use this just to give me the advantage. Excellent. Once again, you can see there's a little fluid coming down. That's what we want. That's going to tell me that I filled it just right. Any excess should come out without overloading anything. The bladder should sit fine. Again, don't fill it all the way to the top. You want to leave a bit for that bladder. Okay, and as you put it on and you see deformation in your bladder, well, you've done it too much. You've overfilled it. Again, pump it. This is where you get to see if you get that air locking that happens on. Nope, everything's good there. I'm very happy with that. So now we'll close this up so we don't spill. One more time, just doing a nice clean on everything. Put in our spring holder. Alright. Grab our, well, this is where that's dirty, so I'm going to just clean it real quick. Get in there. Clean out any debris that we don't need. take our spring, we compress it, slide on this, the other part of the spring holder, boom. It's all good, done, and nice and strong. Nice. Feels great. I don't even know if I need to put any of the clips on. Maybe. Let's go ahead. We'll replace it back to where it was. Slide that. Got our first clip on. Get our second clip on. Let that go. That's a nice tight spring. That's what we're looking for. This is all being done to take care of the squat that you get when you're drag racing. Okay, so the more the car squats, that little bit of time as the car's squatting is time that you're not going forward. Okay, you want to go forward as quickly as possible, very little squat. That's the whole key. Alright, assemble the last part. Now this is easy if you've got a shock stand. It makes it much easier to fill and do everything with this. You don't need one. That's what I'm trying to show here, is obviously you can do it without it. So compress the spring. Whoops, it's upside down. Put that in right like that. Everything's good there. Again, moving it under pressure. Slide down our collar. Get our clips in. Sometimes it's a little tricky. This one's being a little trickier. Of course, the oil on our hands does not help. And as usual, doing this on camera, it's always going to have a problem, right? So there you go. Just like that. There's some people I know will turn these opposite because they think that that's going to better situate. It doesn't matter. It's personal preference, whatever you want to do. Let's just go ahead and turn these like that. And we've got two shocks that should feel exactly the same. Put them in our hand like this. Give a squish. Yeah, they feel good. They're both exactly the same length now, which is important. Right? You can see they're the same length. That's beautiful. Our shocks are now done, and that took very little time. It took me more time to sit and explain this than it did anything else. So don't be afraid to do this. Again, if you're racing, this is a good thing to do. Just for comparison, these are our front shocks. So they're basically taking the rear and making them the same length as the front, but the difference is, see, the front is a little springier, softer, which is what we want to do because that's absorbing the blows in the front as it's hitting different stuff. Because even though if you see the drag race videos that I put up, or even anything on there, you can smooth out that track as much as you want, but after a few different races, people have stepped on it. There are channels in there from tires, people wiping out. You get little divots, right? So your front is going to be moving. It's gonna pivot around. So you want to make sure that you excuse me, that your front is soft and can absorb those blows. So that's it for this. You can use this tube, but again, you know, as you see here, if it's old tube, it's going to do what mine did, and I noticed it. You know, I had a piece pop off and go to the side, and that allowed one to move higher than the other. So that might have been some of the problems that I had. That's why I've gone with these hard plastic. They don't do this. They're set. They're good. That's exactly what they're supposed to do. And I'm happy with it. Okay, so one of the other things that I got in my little kit now is these. So this is one of the things I got. So this is for the front. It's a shorter one. This is the longer ones for the rear. What these are, a little stretchy. They go over your shock, and then you zip tie them onto it, and that's going to keep a lot of dust and debris out, which is again what I want for this. So I'm going to zip tie these on and put it onto the thing. Now, I could use this obviously, but I need some for the front. So I could put the longer ones in the front. I can also trim these down. I could fold this, roll this over to shorten it, just like that. Super easy, right? All sorts of different ways you can do this. Again, it's just going to get zip tied down and closed. So if I shorten it, that's fine. Maybe we do that. We weren't going to do a lot more in the video, but I guess we are now. So again, we just get this about the length we want. Just depends on where I want that zip tie, right? I think I want it up more. So we'll get a couple zip ties. If you don't have them, totally worth the money. I'm telling you right now, just go get them. I'm actually gonna do this longer. Decide not to roll it under. So this is new to me, so we'll all get to see it at the same time. Maybe go this way. And again, once we do this, we're not stuck with what we've got. We can always clip off the zip tie and keep moving. Like I said, these are stretchy, so they will conform. Just gonna slide it over like this. And you can do this, you don't have to, only do this if you're sand dragging, but you can do this for any vehicle that you have. It's just going to take care of preventing dirt and debris from getting inside. Okay, so I'm going to preset this so I don't have to worry about doing it there. Get it over where I want. Slide it on like so. Give it a good pull. And that's set. Go to the bottom. Do the same thing. Preset it because it'll go over it. Come around. Sit down. Go. Get some nippers here. Nip that. Nip it. And that's it. Now you've got a protected shock from dirt and debris. Just moves up and down freely. If I'm really worried about the spring too much, I can pull this up to there, and we get our spring motion. And our spring is protected now. Unprotected, protected. That's just an option for you if you find that you've got a lot of problems with dirt, debris getting in. This is a way to protect it. They also have net protectors that you can put around your body just to prevent sand and stuff like that going in. They're kind of pricey. I think they're within $40 to $60 depending on which car you've got, how big they are, that kind of stuff. They've got universal kits that fit everything. That just keeps a lot of the debris and everything from getting in your car. It's great if you're just bashing around in grass and stuff like that. It keeps a lot of debris out of your car. If you are like me, and while it's negotiable weight, I clean my car after every time I run it. I take it apart, I clean it, and go from there. So, excuse me. That's what you do with a race car. You've got a race car that you're racing, you're doing stuff with. My suggestion is when you're done running it, bring it home, clean it. Take stuff apart if it needs to, especially if you've got areas where dirt and debris will collect up in. Take it apart, clean it out, get it good. When I race in sand, every time I come home, I just take stuff apart, clean it really good, blow it out, get it to where it's clean and pristine. You do that, you'll break less parts. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Because sand will wear and tear on things. So if you go in and you clean and take care of your stuff, you will have less problems. It's just the nature of everything, right? You see drag racers, any kind of race car, doesn't matter what it is, F1, NASCAR, all that stuff. When they're done with a race, they break that car down. They clean everything. They check every part. If you do this kind of stuff, you can take care of a problem before it becomes a problem. You will see wear and tear on parts, and that allows you to then look at, is there something I need to rectify, is something out of alignment, any of that kind of stuff. So again, if you're racing and you find you're breaking a lot of parts, but you're not taking your vehicle apart and cleaning it, well, that's on you, okay? Because it's really simple. If you enjoy racing, then you'll enjoy wrenching, because it's part of the process. Break your car down, check it, make sure it's good, make sure it's clean, make sure it is debris free, because that debris will wear on parts and break them. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. This was how to put limiters in your shock, how to change your shock oil. This video is good for all that, right? Obviously, if you're taking your shock oil out and it's different than what you're putting back in, do not put it in that other bottle. Just drain it out. You can use a little cup, anything, drain it straight into the trash, a little baggie, any of that stuff to get rid of that oil. If you are changing the weight of your oil in your shocks, I suggest take it all apart, go in there with a towel and wipe down and clean out as much as possible inside, because if that's a thicker weight, well, it's going to change the weight that you're putting in. If it's a thinner weight, it's going to lighten the weight that you want to put in if it's a heavier weight. So consider these kinds of things. It may not make a big difference to you. You can do that. Just put it straight in the next one if you want. You're going to get a little lighter weight if that's what you're looking for. But I definitely suggest cleaning out if you're changing the weight. I am not changing the weight. When I did the original change, I did go and clean out all that stuff, because Traxxas puts a 30 weight in and I'm putting a 50 weight in to stiffen it up. So I wanted to make sure that I clean that out. So that's it for this video. Hopefully this helps you, get you into doing your own thing if that's what you're interested in. And hopefully, like I said, this was informative and you enjoyed it. Alright, we'll see you in the next video. Till then, have a great day. Go make it. You can do it. And we'll see you in the next video.